Good morning from Music and Lyrics. This is Lisa, and I don't know why I didn't think about doing this before, but for those of you that have been reading my blog, which is at www.saleenmusicandlyrics.com, I've spent a lot of time in those blog posts explaining what was going on during that trip, you know, what was the sailing like, and how I was feeling about it. And I really wish I would have done some periodic testimonials with videos so you guys could, you know, hear it from me directly. I didn't start this journey feeling confident. Well, actually, I lie. I started this journey feeling really confident. I did. There are videos now that we have up. As of right now, we've got our third episode live. And I keep talking about, oh, sailing is easy. Sailing is easy. This sailing thing is really easy. Yeah, actually, the sailing part really isn't hard. It's the fear and the risks that start to creep in when, you know, things go south. And in the beginning of our season here, started on October 29th of 18, we ran into problems with every single sail, usually at 3 o'clock in the morning, where our engines would stall out. And, you know, we're fatigued and we're alone and we're out there offshore and have to rely upon ourselves and skills, and in this case me relying upon Eric with his skills to get it back on track. And over time that really made me anxious. I also had a lot of problems with our anchor. The windlass would wrap the chain around itself and really made me question the security at anchor. And I got to tell you, as we were approaching the end of the season, this is now the end of April, next week is May, and we're going to start thinking about our journey back to the United States. My confidence has grown. It really has. And every day I'm learning something about myself that is profound and significant. I've weathered a number of storms, quite literally. Yesterday, for example, we had a line of thunderstorms that rolled through, and it really messed up the little bay that we're in off of Munjack Key. We were getting very confused 1 to 1.5 foot rollers, which really wasn't a big deal. Now, in the beginning of the journey, it was a big deal to me, that kind of thing, having rollers knocking the boat around, and, you know, you're just feeling uncomfortable. And yesterday I was like, I'm working away, and, you know, I probably put in a 9.5 hour workday nonstop. Never even dawned on me that we could actually have a problem. Eric felt that we probably would have a problem last night, and he was right. He didn't share that with me, probably because he didn't want me to be alarmed. But while we've been here, and I think have been here now 4 nights, we've been clocking. You know, we've been going south, southwest, west, east, and that puts a lot of strain on our anchor. For those of you that, you know, do this journey with us, you're also a sailor, you know what I'm talking about. Your anchor is going to start to turn over, it's going to collect muck, it's going to have the muck stick, and apparently that's what happened. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, when a powerful band of thunderstorms started rolling through, our anchor alarm went off. Actually, when we went to bed, I was feeling a bit nervous because at around 11 p.m. last night, we were at 132 feet off of where we set the anchor alarm, and that's unheard of. We kind of let that go, thinking, okay, we must have dragged a little bit, but she looks firm. We did the range finding to make sure that we knew from where we were and where the lee shore was. The lee shore, I'm going to turn the camera around. The lee shore is right there, and that's a big rocky hill. And that's not anything anybody wants to run into with winds that are hitting you on the bow. So we did. We broke free from our anchor around 3:30 in the morning is when we realized that had happened. She did have a tentative set. Now, how was I feeling during this? Well, I wasn't freaking out at all. My heart wasn't racing. I calmly collected our headsets, got everything prepped. I put clothes on just in case we were going to attempt re-anchoring during the storm. We did not try to re-anchor during the storm. In fact, we waited at this point after things started settling back down around 4:30 in the morning, we decided to wait until daybreak, where we would have light and we would be able to assess the situation a little bit better. So needless to say, neither one of us slept very well at that point going forward. In fact, I don't think I fell asleep for more than a half an hour. But that's another thing. I fell asleep. So what I'm learning about myself is I am overcoming some of the deeper rooted fears, having been there, done that, and having, you know, negative experiences. Because of all of the positive experiences I've had since then. We have since resolved the problems with our windlass, so our anchor chain does not wrap itself around anymore. I feel supremely confident moving from one part of an anchorage to another. I don't feel like I need to control the weather anymore. That was something that was kind of a big deal. I remember when we were in St. Augustine. No, I'm sorry, we were in New Smyrna Beach. And we were anchored. I can't remember the name of the place right now, but we were anchored and we were swinging wildly. We were doing more than 180-degree swings, and I was so full of anxiety. And now when we start swinging around doing 180s, I'm like, yeah, okay. As long as the anchor alarm isn't showing a problem, as long as I've set the proper amount of scope for the conditions that we're in, then we're good. I am finding with our easterly winds here in the Bahamas, between 10 and 15 knots, I'm feeling confident with a 5-to-1 scope before I put the bridle on. But if we're going to have anything more, if we're going to potentially see gusts upwards of 20 or above, I'm putting out a 7-to-1 scope. And that's something that I hadn't really thought about because I didn't have enough experience. And you know, part of the deal here is that Eric runs the boat and I run the tackle. So I'm learning, and every time I learn something, I just feel so much more confident. I'm going to be sad when our time here in the Bahamas is over, but we are full-time liveaboard. When we get back to the States, I'm going to have a whole new set of challenges that I'm going to need to deal with, and that is not being able to see where the anchor chain is because the clarity of the water won't be there. I'm also going to need to overcome the storms that we're going to get, because the closer we are to those land masses, and we'll be close. We're planning on spending a lot of time in Savannah and then up in Charleston. Those will be our home bases for the off season to do boat repair work. Both of which are going to be hammered with storms. We're going to see storms that settle in for days, not, you know, a squall that passes over for an hour. So I'm going to have to learn how to cope and deal at anchor with larger systems rolling through. But I'm not feeling anxious about it as much as I used to. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to have those moments in time where I don't feel pressure from my inner voice, but I gotta tell you right now, I'm sitting here in our front cockpit, and we've got winds at about 12 knots. Obviously, because we're at anchor, the winds are right on me. The sun is warm, the seas are calm. There's just a little ripple on it. The boat is barely moving. I'm feeling pretty happy, and most of that happiness is not just because of the weather. It's because of the things that I'm learning to overcome. Anyway, I'm planning on sharing over time, maybe once a week, what's been going on verbally. There won't be, you know, too much footage associated. It's just real and raw, unscripted. Here's what's happening, and I hope you follow along. And in the meantime, fair winds to all of you that are on your way back to the States or to parts in the South. And we'll see you again soon.